All right, happy Wednesday. Happy Wednesday. This is Dating Diaries with your host, Christal Jordan. And you guys know Dating Diaries is one half Christal Jordan or Crystal XO, and the other half is the man right here, the man right here, the man right here. Let me get him in the building. Scorpio Moe.
Happy Wednesday, everyone. What up, Crystal? What up?
Man, I had a long Wednesday, but it was a good Wednesday.
Long Wednesday. Okay.
Yeah, I took off work today,
Okay.
and my mother and I went car shopping
Mm.
because she needs another car. So we went car shopping, and I don't know if any of you have ever. What's up, C Boogie?
What
What's
up?
up, Jay Reed? Marriott, all things Emma. Hey, everybody. Sugar Pie. Get in the bed. Get in your bed now. Get on in your bed. Don't be up. Get in the bed. Okay, there we go. All right, in position. But I don't know who has went shopping with a 75-year-old car shopping, but it was quite an adventure.
Listen, I'm about sick of you keep bashing her. I'm just gonna put this out there.
I'm not bashing. I'm not. We had a good time.
Fair now. Okay.
We had a good time. We looked at several cars, and we went to several places. It was a good time.
Okay.
We did not come home with a car. She says she has to process it.
Take your time. But I will say this: the end of the month is the best time to buy a vehicle.
And it's and actually right now, to anybody else that needs one, people are not getting rid of their cars. I think we're all a little bit afraid of what's happening, and people are not getting rid of their cars. There was not a large selection of used cars. So, I mean, that makes it better for the buyer, right? Because it's a buyer's market. So, yes, she does know that cars are made of plastic. So we looked, it was interesting, you guys, because we looked at an electric car.
Oh, Lord, don't do that.
But this car, they actually would sell you the charger. But she was a little put off by it.
You're going too advanced for it, too fancy.
I was doing too fast, yeah. And then they were telling her all the information, and my mom wants to know, was there a CD player?
Keep it. See,
that was her concern. The guy was like, "Oh, so the infotainment center." And she was like, "Is there a CD player?"
See, yeah, this we need old school. Keep it.
Yes, we had a good time though. We had a good mother-daughter day. Good time. What about you? What are you sipping on there? What are you sipping on?
This is the now this I done made this one up now.
Oh, okay. You're a bartender.
Now, normally I do the tea and the apple
Ciroc?
No, hell no.
Crown apple? I don't know. Okay.
What is the sleepy tea? What's it called again?
Sleepy time tea?
Yes, and
you have sleepy time tea?
Listen, you mind your business. Yes, I do. This is in here. Yeah, because I have problems going to sleep.
I do too. But I don't know. I mean, but is it a little early for you to be? What if you get sleepy in the second half?
I've been doing this about a couple months now since you and I've been up. Y'all ain't said nothing now. See, y'all ain't even know.
Y'all pay attention, and Mo starts to be less talkative.
By the time the kicks in, I'll be nice and tired, and when we get off, I go straight to bed. Hopefully.
You know what? I don't know if you guys ever knew it, but there was one time I had taken some melatonin.
Okay.
And I had started to feel, it was on a Friday night, and I was feeling a little bit groggy. And Adrian was like, "You kept yawning."
You know what? I vaguely remember this. Yeah.
I did. But speaking of Friday night, we are excited about Saturday.
Yes. I hope y'all got the memo.
Saturday, we're not going to do Friday night, but we need you all to tune in with us on Saturday, right after the Love and Marriage Huntsville reunion.
Right after.
Because there is so much to discuss. There's so much there. And we're going to talk about what happened on the reunion and what has happened on social media and all of that.
Oh yeah.
So I'm excited about that. I'm excited about that. But today is Dating Diaries. And so tonight's conversation is, I decided that we would talk about mental health issues because I have some exciting news. I filmed an episode giving like the expert advice on the TV One series For My Man. Has anyone seen that show before? Put an XO in the chat if you've ever seen For My Man. Have you seen For My Man?
Oh yeah, I used to watch it. I haven't seen it. Actually, I know someone that was on it.
On it as an actress or on it?
It was just an actress. Yeah.
Okay. Okay.
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah, I know a girl that was on it as an actress as well, but I did so for my episode, the young lady that was featured, she had mental illness.
Okay.
And so I thought, wow, I know I've had a couple of friends that dated guys that had mental illness. And mental illness, I don't mean, it doesn't have to be like schizophrenia or bipolar. It could be anxiety. It could be depression.
True.
It could be severe depression. It could be any of that, any of that or all of that. Or it could really be like really low self-esteem, honestly, to make you make bad decisions. So the young lady, she was self-medicating using drugs, because a lot of times people, when they're suffering from mental illness, they will take drugs to help them balance it out. And so I thought that we should have a conversation about how do we manage our emotions in relationships, and have you dated someone that, had trouble managing or controlling their emotions, because that could be a form of, mental health. So that's what we're going to talk about tonight. And I'm going to give this dating disaster. It didn't happen to me. You know what? I will say a dating disaster that happened to me, but then I'll give you guys a more serious one in a minute. I went out with a girlfriend, and you know how you take one for the team?
Yes.
I was a wing lady, right? So one of my girlfriends wanted to see this guy, and you know how she had been going out with this guy, they broke up, and she needed to get over him. So she wanted to go out with this guy because she was really just trying. So she was like, Christal, just come. He got a friend. So that never works out good for me, but I did it. The friend was a little slow. So we go over this guy's house, and first we're playing cards, and then of course my friend and her guy, they wanted to kind of go over and be alone. And so the guy is talking to me, and I don't know what he was telling me, that he was a master painter. And he was telling me that he knew how to, and I said, well, what is the difference between a painter and a master painter? Because I just didn't understand, what does that mean? What is a master? And he was.
Were you trying to be an asshole when you said that?
No.
Okay.
I didn't know the difference, because he was like, I was a master painter. And I was just like, what does that mean? So I said, what is the difference? What is a master painter? He said, you got to know how to get in there, and he was making the signs and everything. And I was looking at my friend out of the corner of my eye, like, you did this to me. This man is not, and you could tell that he felt like I wasn't really enjoying his conversation. It was uncomfortable, but he just kept showing me how to get into like the molding. No. C-Dub said he was going to hit you with the long strokes. No. No. Ching. But yeah, I basically, impressed upon my friend that we needed to leave immediately. And the guy that she was talking to, we feel that he tried to scam her out of some money. So it was a bad time. We feel that he was a bit of a scammer. It was bad. It was a bad night. One of them nights where women need to stay in the house and don't go. But this Negro kept telling me he was a master painter and telling me that he had the precision to get into the top with the precise strokes. So I'm just going to assume that either he had a mental health issue or he rode to school on a very short bus.
Okay.
Okay, hold on. Marriott says, let's read this. Hold on, let's put this here. I've talked to a guy who I think was mentally ill before. The texts were long. There were tears on the phone. And being an older virgin, it was a lot. I never spoke to him again. Dear God. Yeah. I mean, well, and then Cancer Baby said, if you are struggling with your mental health, should you be dating? I think that anybody can have issues, right, with depression or anxiety. You know, those are all forms of mental health issues, and I think all of us deal with those at some point. You know, maybe not to the extreme, and I think it just depends on if you're open to talk about it or not. But in the show that I did, like I said, the young lady was self-medicating and she got on pills to help her, and then when you're not healthy mentally, you're going to make even worse decisions when it comes to a relationship. So she ended up being with a guy that she was depressed over her bills. And then she told him, let's go rob a store. And the two of them went on a robbing spree.
Well, if bills is making depressed, I know a lot of depressed people.
Bills make some people depressed, not everybody. But I think when people don't feel like they don't see a way out, they can get depressed.
Yeah. I see that. I can see that. I know this time of year, I know it's heavy with the holiday passing, the fall,
Actually suicide rates skyrocket during Christmas, specifically.
Yeah, I mean, it's that it gets dark early, it's gloomy.
Yeah.
It's a lot of triggering things, especially if you were a child. If let's say you never had, you were feeling a certain way this time of year, you never had presents, and the music could be triggering.
Yeah.
All these things can, contribute to certain way. You never know what triggers a person. And like I said, that's even the weather. Like what they say, Seattle has the highest what's the name in the country.
It rains there all the time.
Yeah, so in Alaska, things of that nature. So yeah, that's real. That's real.
Have you ever dated someone that you felt like was dealing with a mental health issue?
Yeah, absolutely. I think they were I don't know. Only thing I was aware of, they were around and they were around some death. I'll just say that. And it was very just cries out of nowhere, talk to themselves, won't get out of bed, this kind of thing. So I knew it was some recent deaths that that bothered them. And then it was some other stuff, but I didn't, to be honest with you, I didn't stick around that long to find out the other issues, but I saw it under there. And when I would ask certain things, they would deny. But like I said, I don't want to be too pushy because I don't want to be the person to push them over, or you don't know what it is. And if they don't open up, you don't want to impose yourself and keep, so you just kind of fall back. But you can see it. You can see it in there. And as being the other person, you don't know what to do.
Yeah. Did you end things because of that, or was there other reasons?
I didn't end it because of that, but I think that played a part in the other stuff that they did. I'll just say that, if that makes sense.
Yes, it does. I'm sorry. I just saw Sheena K says, I dated someone that was mentally ill. I noticed some things while dating. A few months after we dated, he stabbed someone with a screwdriver. Wow.
See, have you ever seen someone just the slightest thing, you know, like I told you about the situation. I saw rage in the person.
You
And that was the thing. I've seen anger before. I've seen someone get mad,
yeah.
but rage, and it
Like
was,
fury?
huh?
Like fury?
Like over something super simple. Like the look on their face, like you don't see rage a lot. You see
like David, like the Incredible Hulk from David Banner.
oh like that.
Yeah.
In the forehead and all that over something minor. And I was like, whoa.
Where is it? You said I dated a bipolar ex stripper once. Not the best.
Oh,
Did you know that she was bipolar? Was she diagnosed, or did you diagnose her as bipolar?
hold on. What was that? What kind of person again?
A bipolar ex stripper.
Interesting.
I do know because I interviewed, you guys know, from my first novel, Under the Cherry Moon. I don't think I have a copy of it down here, but I interviewed 60 strippers, and a lot of them were dealing with a lot of trauma and pain from their past. A lot of them chose that that profession because of some really difficult things. Not everybody, you know what I mean, but for the most, a large majority of the ones that I spoke with, oh, she was diagnosed while we were dating. Wow. Wow. So like I said, I do have a story. A friend of mine, a good friend of mine, was dating a guy, and they moved in together, and she said that she would overhear him like talking to himself a lot. And you know how as women, a lot of times when we see something, we try to we want to help. We want to try to, she wanted to help him. She was a very caring person with a beautiful heart. She wanted to help him, and he was really just had a lot going on. I think he had dealt with some trauma as a child, and ultimately this guy that she was trying to help, he ended up, when they were driving somewhere, he jumped out of the car into moving traffic on the highway, and committed suicide. Whoa. And he did it while she was driving, which really, really traumatized her, and put her in a really, I mean, it really messed her up for a long time, because she saw it, she saw it, she couldn't stop it. And the lady, I remember an older lady coming over and telling him, telling her, be happy that you're okay, because if he didn't care about his life, he couldn't possibly care about yours. So it could have went much worse, but that was, to her, she was devastated,
Ooh.
Yeah, that's a horrible story. But I also think, we have to talk about stuff like this, because some things are extreme like that. And then there's other times when, someone that you're dating may be dealing with, I remember going out with a guy that had just lost his mother, and he was dealing with, I mean, he just, and finally he was just like, I can't, we were just getting to know each other, and he just had to put everything on pause, because he was just, could not, he just could not function. And that's not a good time to really be getting to know someone. Someone asked earlier, if you're dealing with mental health issues, should you be dating? And I think, if but I mean, what if you're dating someone and then they go through something like losing a parent or losing their job? And I mean, a lot of things can trigger, issues with mental health. So I think it just kind of depends. It just kind of depends on the situation. But I think these issues are a lot more common than we kind of give them credit for.
You're right.
The M says, if a person has mental health issues and they are not seeking professional help, then no, they shouldn't date. What if they have mental health issues, but they don't realize it?
That's the other thing. That's the other.
Because I'm going to wait, because we have a guest that's joining us, a friend of mine, and I asked him to join because I was at a panel that he was hosting, and he always asked people on his panels, what are they doing for their own mental health? You know, what are they doing to stay in a positive space? And so I thought that would be a great thing for us to talk about as it pertains to dating.
The
Yeah.
the one time where I felt darkness, I would say.
Mm-hmm.
And I called you.
Mm-hmm.
I called you, and I felt and it just helped to talk because I was keeping it in, and that was the last 2021,
Mm-hmm.
right?
Yeah, I remember.
Right. So it was like 2 deaths. One of them being my sister was the last one. The fall had just happened. I was working third shift at my job, so you know, going to work, going home to work, doing my breaks. It was all dark. And my sister, 6 of us in the house all together. My sister was the second.
I'm so sorry. Sugar Pie is on alert.
And I'm the last one. So I think I was going through,
Take her out. I'm gonna watch it.
I think I was going through survivor's remorse. You know what I'm saying? That kind of thing. It just helped to talk to someone. And I started to feel a little better afterwards. But
yeah,
that it does have, hopefully, you know, if you're feeling different and being honest with yourself, and it's like anything else. If you notice your heart rate or whatever, you're in tune with yourself, and you know, right. This is for the people that are in tune, because like you might be so busy, caught up in your day-to-day life, you're not even realizing what's going on.
Yeah.
But I did realize something was feeling different.
Yeah.
And right. So I think it helps to have someone in your life that you can reach out to, and just whether it's to get advice or just to vent,
Mm-hmm.
And that's all it took for me. But I definitely, prior to that, I never felt that before. I've dealt with certain things, but that felt different. So it was good to reach out to you and get that off.
Yeah. Well, I know, I mean, I'm pretty transparent, but I know that I had a very dark time after my divorce, so, and you know what? I mean, some things are funny looking back. It's funny now, but it wasn't funny then. But do you remember I was very depressed,
Mm-hmm.
and I was dating.
Mm-hmm.
And
out of the decisions, yes.
yes, and I remember dating this guy, and I really wish I could find him because I owe him a huge apology. It was this very, very gracious fireman, and he was just trying to do everything he could to just win me over, and he had no idea. I should not have been dating. If I could go back in time, Mo, you should have told me I didn't have no business dating.
I don't know if I was putting it all together at the same time. Well, you're right.
I should not have been dating because that poor fireman, he was trying to, and I just wasn't. I would be on dates with him and start crying, or I was just not ready to date. And I think a lot of times we have this in our culture. We have this idea that if you are sad about a relationship, that you should the only way you can get over a man is getting to another one, and I know men do that with women as well. Because there are men that I've dated guys that kept telling me about their exes. Like the whole date, we just sat and he talked about how you heard the bitterness of his last relationship. I was on a date crying over another. So it just, if you're not mentally healthy, don't date. I think if you're aware of it, because a lot of times you will attract the wrong type of people. You could attract someone that's trying to take advantage of you, which is the case with this young lady in the show that I did the expert, contributions for. Or you can find someone that is a nurturer and is trying to help you, and you really can't receive their help. So I think all of that was kind of happening That poor man. If you're out there, Mr. Fireman, I am so sorry. I am so sorry. I'm so sorry, sir. It was a bad time. But I think sometimes we don't know, when we are struggling with that. And I think having friends around to say, and realizing also that a relationship is not always the answer to, sadness or anxiety even, because I have a girlfriend that's anxious, that's a lot of anxiety. And when she gets ready for a date, she is like, I'm like, do not take all this anxiety to the date. That is going to scare him, but it's kind of difficult. It's kind of difficult if you don't know. So I see that our special guest is joining us. Like I said, this is a friend of mine, and I think that I asked him to come on because he has some very interesting ways of dealing with staying in a healthy mental space. His name is Mr. Daniel Dickey, and Daniel is known as the Renaissance Man. He is the founder and lead strategist of the Resource Guild, an award-winning 360-degree brand management and strategy consulting agency. With a background in mass communication and marketing, he has worked with top-tier brands and figures like Ferrari, Maserati, Miller Coors, One Music Fest, the NBA, NFL, 2 Chainz, Kevin Hart, and so many more. Beyond business, he's an accomplished vocalist who has traveled the world, opening for John Legend, Robert Glasper, Carl Thomas, Jagged Edge, and more. He's a very active philanthropist, championship-winning coach dedicated to mentorship and community impact. His life mantra is the Kim Principle, which reflects his commitment to positivity, productivity, and purpose-driven excellence. Please help me welcome to Dating Diaries, Mr. Daniel Dickey.
The hell of a resume, brother.
I told Daniel 1 to 3 sentences, and he went a bit over, but I expected that.
I feel like you said 3 to 4, and that's exactly what you got. Look, because Christal, the ...
Yeah,
extended a sentence.
Is that okay? Well, welcome, Daniel. I mentioned that we're talking about mental health and how do we stay in a positive mental health space, and also because this is Dating Diaries, how does that affect our dating life and our dating, well-being? But before we get to any of that,
okay,
every guest that comes on Dating Diaries, we ask them to share a dating disaster. We actually a dating disaster, a dating dilemma, or a dating deal breaker. But we need it to be juicy.
So, a deal breaker and a disaster at the same time. I'm a dynamic human being. I mean, a D and a D. Those are my initials. And I may just give you write off a couple of them at a time.
I like it. I'm here for it.
Yeah. So I'm a person who believes that hygiene is extremely important, right? Yeah. And so feminine hygiene is a really that's obviously a deal breaker. You know what I mean? When that's compromised. And so I am the kind of guy who has had experiences where I maybe bagged a shorty at a function, you know what I mean, and and she decided that she wanted to come home with me.
Okay.
Like, Christal, I don't know what it is about me, but they just want me to have it a lot of times, like, you know what I mean, like, just and so we get to my crib, which is my favorite place for the activities. You know what I mean? Is definitely probably never going to your crib, sweetheart. Like, like
home team advantage.
Right, exactly. Like, that's an important, aspect. And so we having a little makeout mountain type situation.
Okay.
So now we're taking this into the bedroom. And I got that whiff of, as Charles Barkley said, odoriferous emanation. And so I got that whiff of the odoriferous emanation. I'm a, I mean, of course, Christal, we are, communication specialists.
Yes.
So I really kind of graciously was like, we're like, let's get a shower and then really have the type of experience like, that we should be having. And she gave me pushback on
The shower? What did she say?
I take a shower for what? Like, you know what I mean? Like, I'm like, the obvious reason, like, why anybody ever asks you to take a shower. And so yeah, and so in that situation, it ended up becoming like a, because I was just like, well, I think our adventure's over then. Like, you know what I mean? Like, I said, well, our adventure's over then. Like, you know what I mean? And so it was, so then that was a whole thing. And so I ended up having to throw her in an Uber, not physically throw, like call an Uber and make sure she got in that motherfucker. So I had that experience, with a woman. I have had an experience where, because I be outside, I mean, Christal, I'm outside, and I had a woman, and we met at a
hold on. They're saying your sound is a little staticky, and I hear it. I think if you sit closer to it, maybe.
Okay. Maybe should I just change sources?
Well, it's just because I think when you were going back and forward, I think it's okay if you stay a little still.
Okay. And let me see if I can maybe sure this up a little bit more. Hold on. I have headphones.
Okay. That could help.
Okay.
I should have known Daniel would be prepared. Yes.
Okay, Christal.
Much better.
You can hear me much better?
Yes.
Okay,
yep.
Perfect.
Okay.
All right, perfect. All right. So I've had that. I had an experience once where an ex that I was like still, intermingling with.
Okay.
And she invited me to opening night of a play that she had.
Okay.
I love a good actress, a little good model, we love it, and I was sitting behind a guy, and I had flowers for her. It was opening night, and I was sitting behind a guy who also had flowers for her.
Oh wow!
And so I had that experience. That was another one.
So what happened? What ultimately did you both take your flowers to her?
Well, what I did was, because she was an ex for me, you know what I mean, and obviously he was a next for her, and so what I did was I fell back because I watched him. He was taking pictures of her, like while she was performing, and it was like very much like pictures of her, like, and not like the whole production.
Okay.
Like giving a lot of just you photos, even though she might have been on stage with 4 people, and just like. I'm like, okay, so he's locked in.
Okay.
And so what I did was I actually let her have like her moment. I let him have his moment because he was anxiously went up after the function. And what I ended up doing is I just ended up giving a flower to all the people that were in the production. But yeah, definitely. So I had that happen too. That was one.
That's crazy. Now let me ask you this. Hold on now. Were you, because you were still intermingling, right?
Yeah, that was my word.
Did you feel a moment of like, oh man, like, because it's still men are still very territorial, right? So did you feel a sense of like, dang, she got somebody in my spot already, or what, or, did you feel a moment of a little bit of jealousy, maybe a little bit of the green-eyed monster?
So I would say this first of all. I love Black women. I think that Black women are the most amazing creatures that exist on this earth. And I feel like I'm on this earth to love Black women. Okay. And so with that being said, I'm not a territorial person. I'm not jealous. That's not my energy at all. Cause like nobody belongs to me. You know what I mean? Like, I feel like at the point that we're in a monogamous exclusive relationship, I'm gonna be the kind of guy who traditionally honors that. Granted, women are of course still letting it be known outside, creating weird experiences, kind of letting my shorty know that I could get it from her and all of that kind of stuff like that. So, because women can be really disrespectful. In Atlanta, they can be
They
extra
can.
disrespectful.
And
Yeah, will kiss you on the cheek with lipstick and stuff. I'm like, sweetheart, like you literally obviously see I'm here with my, and you literally
yes.
feel them, and all that kind of stuff. But I'm not really territorial in that way. That's why I graciously I'm glad that, God put me in a position to be right behind this guy and see that he was so locked in, on her. You know what I mean? And so it gave me the chance to make, the master, brand strategist that I am to go a different route. But no, but also, so not jealous or territorial, but then I'm also not the kind of person who like some men are very much territorial and jealous and insecure and bring that a lot of times to an unproductively into relationships. But to me, I think if I'm going to love someone, I should be prepared that other people should love that person too. You know what I mean?
As you know what? That sounds like a word that I learned. So Daniel, last week we had a lady on that was a polygamist.
Okay.
And she shared with me that this word called compersion.
Oh.
And for those of you in the chat that weren't here last week, I don't know where you were, but it was basically compersion means that you love someone so much that you are okay with seeing someone else love them as well. In fact, it gives you happiness and joy to see them being loved by someone else. It sounds like you could have compersion.
Well, to me, it's just like at the point that we break up, like, this is something I learned, growing up, if I know that I'm not going to love this woman the way that she wants to be loved, and I'm not wanting to be with her in the way that she wants to be with me, then the best thing I can do is let her go.
That's true.
You know what I mean? Like, I'm not that dude who wants to handcuff. I'm not going to see you 10 years later and still try to grab you on the ass in front of your husband or wild kind of energy like that. So now I don't really feel jealousy in that way. I want, again, like he's obviously checking for her, locked in, like he was locked in. He had the flowers. Listen,
he was on photographer status there with the.
Exactly. And so I was just like, yeah, so y'all got it. I love that for you.
But let me ask you this. Is there a point where in any situation like that, well, maybe not the other party, but the woman, do you check the woman? At some point, I mean, in a relationship or when there's, you want this to lead to something, you've been led to believe one thing, and then you show up. Like I told you about the incident, Christal, where I was going to help the woman move, and I couldn't. 2 other guys showed up to help move, and they got into it. Third guy.
Oh, they was all her niggas. Y'all was all her niggas.
Yeah, right? Yeah, she moved in from out of town. Come to find out, she was talking to 2 other guys, and I had to work. And these guys, one dude got one end of the couch, the other dude got the other end of the couch, and they're arguing. And they almost got into it, and I would have been the third dummy had I showed up. So my thing is, yeah, I can't be mad at the other guy, but I can say something. I should say something to her, right? At some point.
I mean, first of all, I got to give her the slow clap for that. That's legendary. Yeah, look, that's she's a playmaker. But yeah, and so I think you probably do address that, like at least give me a heads up that you got me around a bunch of your niggas at the same time. So yeah, I feel you on that, definitely. I do think that a heads up was, but in my situation, it was like it was opener night, and you knew that obviously you. But okay. I don't remember what happened there. I don't know if the guy just saw it on her Facebook or something and came with that energy or not. You know what I mean? I don't know what that was at that point, but yeah, to me, I think if that in your situation, me and Shorty would have probably either had to talk or we would just never talked again. Like, like, you know what I mean? Like, so she would have to be extra special probably for us to talk unless she like initiated it. I would have just probably never hit her again. Like, so if we ever talked again, because she would have had to hit me.
Yeah. I know a girl that did that. And the guy it was just 2 guys. And my friend, he was so disgusted that he was not, and because the thing is, he was late. So she needed to move. She had this stuff in the storage. He was late, and there was another guy there moving, and he was disgusted. And the girl was like, "Well, you were late anyway."
Okay. Right.
Women have to use and moving is something that nobody really wants to do.
Exactly.
Mm-hmm.
So I do think I agree with Daniel. She should get a slow clap on that.
Yeah. I gave it to her. Yeah, it was like, I mean, I hate it for you, Scorpio Moe, but woo, that's legendary. She had three young strapping lads there to get all her stuff moved in. We love to see it.
So tonight, that was definitely especially the first one, Daniel. That was definitely a dating disaster.
Okay.
Scorpio Moe has shared with us that he has encountered the ominous odorific issue as well.
Yeah, definitely. And it's like, and you almost can't. It takes a real special connection, special energy, and for women to receive that in a way where they don't lash, because women, you guys don't take a lot of constructive criticism, if you will. It's like if a dude opens his mouth to say anything other than thank you, yes please, yes ma'am, yes, like how much, and all that kind of stuff, then y'all can get to eat and laying in us.
Well, I just hope that these issues, because I hear them far too often, my sisters, and so we must do what we need to do, whether that is going to the OBGYN more often,
yes, definitely.
Or probably just showers are good, baths are better, just to make sure that you get the water in there,
Yes, it's really important that you get the water in there and that it gets a chance to perforate in there. You know what I mean? Like there's a perforation moment that also is important there that we really need to happen. You know? Yeah, definitely.
And men too. We need everything.
Absolutely.
But tonight we're talking about besides funny dating disasters and dilemmas and deal breakers, and it feels like that was all of those in one.
Really quick, can I just add one last thing here about this hygiene part?
Yeah. Oh, yes.
Because I feel responsible for speaking for dope Black men all across the world.
Of course.
Yeah. And so it's when you guys, it's not at the peak of freshness if you pee right before. Like that moment of peeing is a moment that brings another flavor profile into the experience that you should still look to go and neutralize again, even after you took a shower. So if you took a shower and then you just peed for 2 minutes straight stream, like, yeah, definitely. Like we're not here for the golden shower functionality if we don't have to be.
Refreshing at that point.
Yeah, exactly. It does require refresh after the urination also. And
I would like to say for the women, ditto.
Yes, definitely.
A shake is not enough.
Agreed. I actually like, you know what I mean? I actually use a wipe. I'm more of a flushable wipe guy, because you know what I mean? Because
a lot of brothers are shaking and coming right back to bed. Don't shake.
Yeah, without baking. Shake and bake, you saying?
Oh my gosh, yes. So we want to make sure, and yes, and Linda V wants to add, drink lots of water and eat properly. And I think that goes across the board.
Yep. Because after you pee, from all that water you're drinking, give us a little refresher.
Thank you for that. Thank you.
You're welcome.
So we're talking about mental health and how do we stay mentally healthy, and how does that, if we are not, or if we're experiencing some mental health issues, how does that affect our dating? And Scorpio Moe and I shared that some experiences of just dealing with things, and we're talking, I think when people think of mental health, it can be anything from anxiety, feeling a lot of anxiety, to mild depression, seasonal depression, high functioning depression,
right?
Because there are a lot of people that are operating on a day-to-day basis, going to work, getting things done, but still dealing with a lot of depression internally. And so just want to say to all of us to answer this question. I'll start. because Daniel, I mentioned that I was on a panel and you moderated last night and did a great job. And you ask everyone what is something that they practice daily for their mental health. And I think because I think everybody deals with mental health issues at some point or another, be it, you know, something triggering that's like a life milestone, like losing someone, death. It could be losing a job. It could be relocating and feeling out of place or out of sorts. It could be getting older and kind of trying to figure out where you fit in a new land. Like, it's so many different things that can trigger our issues with mental health. And so one of the things that I try to do that I think to keep myself in a good space is I learned to really kind of enjoy my own company and figure out what is going on with me. And definitely definitely do therapy, but I try to at least have some time where I center myself. And I go and I spend a lot of time outside. If I feel myself becoming overwhelmed, specifically with anxiety or just being anxious about something, because a lot of times I'll feel anxious if I'm about to do something that I feel like has it could either have really good results or really bad. If I feel pressure, I'll just stop, go outside and breathe, right? And I love being out, looking at the trees, breathing fresh air, and just taking a moment, because I learned that can really make a difference, because I'm a person that's on my computer all the time. So writing and talking to people. So sometimes just getting up, walking outside, even if it's just for 5 or 10 minutes, makes a huge, huge difference for me, especially with being anxious or feeling pressure. So I'll do Scorpio Moe, and then we'll go to Daniel. What do you do, Scorpio Moe, when if you feel yourself kind of getting off?
I get more into what I already do, because I do affirmations in the morning when I do my morning routine. Even all like that in the shower, I do affirmations. I try to listen to one feel-good song before I get into anything ratchet and raw.
Hey, so Mo, really quick.
Yes.
What can you give me one of those affirmations? Tell me 1 or 2 of the affirmations that you actually, share with yourself.
Well, most of them are the I ams. At first, I started off with the I am affirmations. And started to get in that, the algorithm on my phone and stuff. So I would get it's this guy named Bob Baker, who has them, and also it's because it becomes a lot. It's a collage of what's the guy you talk Christal you're with
Les Brown.
I get into this motivational thing where I just mindset, but it started out with the I am affirmation.
Gotcha.
Now I'm on stoicism, and I've gotten into that, and I'm soaking into that. That's been, so I noticed like my algorithm changes each time of the day in the morning, because that's all I see. So I press on the first one, to how to start my day feels good. I am this, I am that, so on and so forth. And then if I'm feeling it, like if I had a bad day, which I don't do anymore, but I need to get back into it, is before I go to bed, I shut everything off and just sit in the bed, and I try the peaceful sounds and to calm my spirit, before I go to bed. Last night I listened to the rain on the on my phone.
I was gonna say, was it on your window pane?
Slowly driving him insane. Yeah, exactly.
Christal, I'm trying to be serious right now.
I'm just saying that was a song.
Right.
What was the song? Was it on?
Oh, talking about the phone.
Look, I'm going down.
but those are the things and then most important, Christal don't believe me, but I haven't done it in a minute. I'm not gonna lie, but I try to stay grounded, put my feet touching the earth. And I did hug a tree a couple times.
I don't believe that he hugged a tree.
Okay, got it. Got it.
Thank you. Continue. Good. I'm good. That's what I do.
What do you got, Daniel?
Well, first, what I have is the definition of stoicism. The endurance of pain and hardship without the display of feelings and without complaint. An ancient Greek school of philosophy founded at Athens. The school taught that virtue, the highest good, is based on knowledge. The wise live in harmony with the divine reason. Okay, All right. Yeah, you can't be dropping a word like stoicism out here for regular people and just thinking they just right with you. I was like, hold on. He said, I practice stoicism. I needed to know what that was. So for me, I do a lot of things. Yeah, I do a lot of things actually. I'm a I'm a very I don't really do a lot of things in my life that I'm not passionate about. Like
Mm.
I'll say that first. So I think that's on the front side of navigating and managing your mental health is not doing a bunch of stuff that you don't like to do. You know
Yeah.
what I mean? But you know, it's definitely high pressure, high stakes. So I'm definitely somebody who will intentionally, like what Christal said, like being outside. Like I'm a fan of the sun. I'm a fan of grounding.
Hey.
Yeah, I'm a fan of the sun. I'm a fan of grounding. I smoke marijuana. I dance with somebody's daughter. I try to have sex very frequently. So and I say what I need to say to who I need to say it to.
Mm.
You know what I mean? Like it's you know, and so I'm always prepared for what that consequence is going to be. Because you know I'm not gonna be cursing traditionally or any of those kinds of things, but we're gonna address the thing. Like you know what I mean? Like and so I'm gonna do it right with that person. And I
Mhm.
think that that's very healthy for my mental health as well because people have all this unforgiveness
Mhm.
and regret and all this
Mhm.
kind of stuff. And it's like you can be lighter if you don't carry as many things with you.
That's
Mm.
You know what I mean?
Badu has shared that with us a few, years ago. Yeah.
Like,
Mhm.
yeah, you can be lighter. And so then also, I'm also a minimalist. That's actually something that also is very much helpful to my mental health.
Mhm.
Is like just I don't I'm never doing the most. I don't want to accumulate a lot of things because you know a lot of times people's houses are cluttered and they're wondering why their brains are cluttered
Mm.
and you know why their thought streams are cluttered
Mhm.
and it's like you know this so yeah so there's that and then I also do all the things for the most part that I enjoy doing on the earth like you know like I'm a activist. I enjoy making sure that things are better for others. You know
Mhm.
what I mean? I'm in fact I'm right now dealing with the situation with Cornelius Taylor, the black man, the homeless man who was bulldozed you know, right around the corner from Ebenezer Baptist Church. And so dealing with that with Hosea Feed the Hungry and Homeless. And so I spent time understanding that, you know, what you do for the least of these is what you do, you know what I mean, for the highest of good. You know
Mhm.
what I mean? So I put time and space into that. I play tennis. I play basketball. Um, I do a lot of again and I take naps. I have a nap that I take every Friday. I know between the hours of 6 to 10, I'm gonna probably sleep for 2 hours. Like I won't
Mhm.
sleep that whole time. Like
Mhm.
I might not knock off work until 8 or 7, and I might sleep from 7 to 9, or I might sleep from 8 to 10, or I might sleep from 6 to 8.
And then at 10 you rise up and you go out into the streets.
Okay, you know what's going on, Christal. Okay.
Hey, naps are underrated. I try to tell. Crystal used to laugh at me because I used to take naps. Naps
Oh
are
no, naps are legendary.
They
ah.
are.
Yeah,
They
yeah,
are. I
yeah.
don't get to take a lot of them, but they are.
Yeah, naps are legendary. And then even when I had those nights where I had a long day and a long night, and I know I might not do it today or tomorrow, but I know I might take that popping nap on Sunday. Like,
Yeah.
you know what I mean? Like, or I just might
Sunday,
not, you know.
Sunday naps are good. Actually, a Sunday sleep in is great. I love a Sunday sleep in.
Oh, a Sunday chill in is great.
That it is. It is. It is. It
Like,
is.
like for football season, I won't usually wake up until around 11:30, 12, and I'll watch literally football, and I'll do laundry, and I may clean up, and I'm like ready for my week, but I still
Yeah.
was on the recliner and you know watch all the games, watch the 1 o'clock games, the 4 o'clock games, the night game.
Y'all
Then
do. Yeah, y'all men can just watch the football all through the day. That's crazy to me because I
mhm.
just my husband will sit. He'll be like, "What do you?" I'll be like, "What are you doing?" He's like, "Football." There's a 4 o'clock game. There's another. He'll just. I mean,
Yeah, we don't need nothing else. If you watch football, On Sunday, you don't need nothing else. All I need you to do is be look, this is a pro tip for women.
Oh.
You can absolutely be the halftime show when your man is watching football games. Like Phil, that's a great time to take him into the bedroom or just take him right on the sofa. You know what I'm saying? Top him off, give him a back shot. Like, just do any of those things. That's a like halftime of these sports games that women are like, oh, I hate football. I hate when he gets like that. Like, no, sweetheart, you can make that count. You can be the halftime show.
Become a part of it.
Exactly. Yes, definitely.
Thank you for these extra tips, Daniel. You're giving back in so many ways.
When I started to do, when I would go out of town or go on vacation, come back the day before and take a day to decompress. When to work, from flying in Sunday night, then going to work, to you. But if you take a day going on vacation and come early and just chill and decompress, it's very, very helpful.
But but just to come back to what we were talking about, and also to this whole no sleep, always be working and all that kind of stuff like that, that's very detrimental to our mental health. And another thing is, we don't live in the truth of who we are as a people. And I think that's also going to be very helpful to our mental health, because people, successful people look at things lots of different ways, but I only want to be successful in my whole life. Like, you know what I mean? I don't want to be successful in some industry or in any specific thing that I do. And I think success has to look, for a holistic person, success has to look successful holistically. And what good is all the riches in the world if you lose your soul? You know what I mean? And so the truth of, in my opinion, of us as people, as Black people, like we derive from the people who created every fucking thing, right? And so when we were creating every fucking thing, we were already mothers, we were already fathers, we were already more connected to each other, we were more connected to the earth, we were more connected to our sources, we were more connected in all the ways that you can be connected, right? And these people still found the time to create math and science and agriculture and the building blocks of medicine and all these things. And also in this kind of gig economy space, literally anything that we do in our day, somebody could get paid to do that thing, right?
Right.
And so this notion that we're supposed to do this one thing, and then any other thing that you're doing is a distraction, and that causes people anxiety. Like, hello, my guy, you work 12 hours, but you actually love to paint. Pick up that fucking paintbrush, my guy. Like, you know what I mean? Like, do that too. Like, create space for you to be your whole self, and stop having anxiety around doing anything that doesn't make you money.
Yeah, that's true.
You know what I mean? It's like, it's like, and so it's like people just feel like if I'm not making money, I should be sleeping. You know what I mean? Like,
they feel like you can't. I hate, and I think the music industry was at least for me, was a very big component of that, was like sleep when you die. And I would have friends and people that were around me that's like, oh, like I remember one of my friends I worked with, and we would be out till 2 or 3 in the morning in the studio working, and then he'd be like, I'm just tired. He's like, you're not committed. You're not committed. And I think a lot of that, and I'm not just saying that, I think, because I feel like, although we know what's going on with Diddy and all that, I do think that he contributed a lot of positive to our culture. But I also think that watching Making the Band and seeing, oh, you sleep when you die, you got to be up. I work 21 hours a day. What are you doing? Like, it was a lot. And I think it really, I remember, because I media trained the guys in the cast of Making the Band, the first one, that really left a big indelible mark on young people in the music business. And a lot of them took on that persona of, if I rest, if I take time for me, I'm playing. I'm not serious. I'm not committed to my dreams. And so that was the culture around me when I came into this business. And so that makes it very difficult to do anything outside of work. So I want to use that as a segue into, so how do we implement building relationships, specifically in a romantic way, when we're trying to take care of our mental health? And what does it look like if you're dating someone who is struggling with mental health issues themselves, how do you know when you can help and when it's best to bow out? I'll start with Scorpio Moe, and just talking about how have you dealt with a situation where someone may have been struggling with mental health. If you see those signs early on, like in that first exchange on Bumble, what are some signs that you've seen that's like, wait a minute, this doesn't feel right? And do you address it? Do you leave? Like, what do you as a man do when you see something could be a little off?
I'm gonna be honest with you, I'm working on that because I don't know. Like, I don't want to push nobody further into it. You know what I'm saying? But then you feel guilty of just abandoning the situation, right?
Mm-hmm.
So you're kind of stuck in this place. You're kind of going, and now you're tiptoeing. And it's like, okay, it's a coast clear here.
Right.
Then around and you take another step, and then you don't see nothing for a long time. And then all of a sudden, something happens, you be like, oh, that's a trigger, because they just went from 0 to 100. And they was like, well, it's a one-off. They only do it every once. You start making excuses for them.
Mm-hmm.
And before you know it, you're 6 months, 9 months in, or whatever the case may be. Right now is really to listen, be observant, be super observant, and don't get in too deep where you can't back out. But at the same time, it's like, this person really might need help.
Yeah.
They're dealing with stuff that obviously, if you're just getting to know them, that was before you. So you're in this tough space, but at the same time, it doesn't mean that you can't be a friend. You know what I'm saying? Even though they might want more, you might be able to still help this person, or at least point them in the right direction or give them some advice, but you don't know what people are dealing with. You don't want to pry too much, but then some people, you meet them and they'll tell you everything.
Yeah.
And then you're like
they diagnosis and everything.
Right. Now they just put all this on your plate, and you're like, if I jet right now, would I
slide back into the bush? If I do the Homer Simpson.
Right. Would I be a piece of shit for doing that? Or do I stay in here knowing that I can't fix this person?
No, none of us can fix each other.
I would ask you, what does one do? I would ask y'all, what does one do when you're like caught in the middle?
I know for me, I remember I dated this guy that had just lost his sister.
Okay.
I had a horrible time dating.
You did.
I did. I had a really hard time.
You look great doing it, though, Christal.
I thank you, Daniel. But I remember I was dating this guy that had lost his sister, and I think a lot of times men's sadness and women's sadness translates differently.
Well, no, everything translates differently.
It does, but especially sadness, because I did not understand that a lot of times when men are angry, it's because really at the bottom of that anger and aggression is pain and grief, right?
Okay.
And so he was angry at God, and I just happened to be a Christian, and he was in my phone. I put him in the phone as angry Jesus dater. Because I had to stop answering the phone when he called, because he was so angry at God, at Jesus, at God, because he was a Christian and then his sister died, and he blamed God for his sister dying. Right. So he started just calling me and just going on rants about, you're Christian, you're white Christian God. And I was just like,
okay, got it.
Okay. He was, it was deep, but and the crazy thing was he would go off and I'd be like, okay, we don't ever have to speak again, Right. But then he would call me again. So I realized, okay, he likes me, but he's not in a place to actually be okay, because he was really hurt. But I had to
even understand that.
I had to back out of that, and I had to block those calls. Yeah. And the reason is, first of all, like I said, I could not help him, right? Because he didn't want to hear from me, oh, I can be your friend. No, he was trying to convince me to be in a relationship with him. And yet he was also trying to make me leave my own, but it was all going back to him really, really grieving his sister's death. And I think, unfortunately, to your point, Mo, you really, a lot of times when it's a dating situation, because as grown-ups, we don't want to make no one is looking to create more friends. If you met a person under a dating relationship, I'm not saying we don't want more friends, but if you're dating, if someone is showing interest in you, they don't really want to hear, well, we can be friends.
Right,
that usually causes them to feel rejected on top of whatever they're dealing with. So sometimes the best thing you can do is just to notice those red flags early and let that person be, because we have to realize we are put here to help each other, but we cannot fix each other, right? And so I think the best thing for me in that situation, I did pray for him. Not in his presence, not in his presence, like, because he was angry, but I couldn't date him because, he wasn't ready to date, and he wasn't the one for me. But I did give him grace and not come back at him like I would have if I didn't think he was really hurting, because I really, it could have been a whole moment, but I did have grace for him because I understood that he was grappling with his sister's death.
Okay. And so I got your question, Mo, but Christal, what was the original question?
So how do you deal with that? Like, how do you deal with if you're dating someone? So for me, with dating this guy, I just had to ghost him. I had to ghost him.
Okay, yeah.
So how have you encountered someone that
Christal, I date women, of course.
Don't do that.
Yeah.
Don't do that now.
So okay, got it.
So it's a chat full of women.
No. And I love women. I love my most favorite things on the earth. I'm here to look.
Okay.
I love you all, ladies. How you look. But what I've noticed is it's something I've noticed frequently. Is oftentimes women don't have a strong ability to let go. Like, they hold on to that person who hurt them, that the mom, the dad, that aunt that said they weren't gonna be nothing, all of those things, and they'll hold this stuff for literally until the end of life. And it's like I'm just gonna so I've noticed that in dating, like just not knowing how to let shit go. And really funny, and maybe even almost in that dating disaster space, I've had two women that I've dated who don't let shit go, and then be constipated as fuck, like really can't let shit go. like yo, swear, like you literally and you figuratively can't let shit go. Like I've experienced that. I've experienced having to, and so of course, Christal, within the framework of some of these large festivals and stuff like that, even we did it at the 20-year anniversary of the Atlanta Greek Picnic. We are creating spaces within these large gatherings for people to sit down and talk to a licensed therapist for free.
Nice. Yeah, you
So,
told me about that.
Yeah, and so, and so it's not like a full therapy session. It's like 15-20 minutes. You'll do an anxiety assessment for them, and then you'll sit down and talk to a therapist. And a lot of times that's introducing them to the world of therapy.
Yeah.
So with having those types of relationships, and then for me, I work with Jose Feed the Hungry and Homeless. And so I'm very aware of a lot of the resources that are available to people of color. So I'm definitely that guy who's going to send Mo, I'll send him a link to, free, schedule your free therapy session. Like, you know what I mean? Like, so I'll definitely, there's a nonprofit here called the Good Samaritans. And with Good Samaritans, you can actually go in and do therapy for free and do some other different things. So I've definitely, in those situations, put them on the path to therapy. You know what I mean? If they weren't. I think when a woman will tell you all the things that they're dealing with, if you actually still kind of enjoy being around, it, because I think the undiagnosed people are the ones that are wreaking the most havoc out here.
That's true.
You know what I mean? Like the fact that that you have this disorder or this, and you take the meds for that, but you still a vibe, you know what I mean? Look, your hygiene popping, you know what I'm saying? You'll throw that ass in a circle when we outside. You can help a brother get something done in his work and his life. Then I know that's what you got going on. Then I can have some mindfulness around that, as long as it ain't never got you doing nothing extra crazy.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, so yeah. So, but it's to know like they say knowledge is power, so I know how to handle that. You know what I mean? And so knowing is better than the unknown, I think, which is most people undiagnosed with all types of disorders and all those different kinds of things.
Mm-hmm.
Like that. I think that men, we get caught up into dealing with women, because Christal, you know my saying. Like some of the women that I've met that weren't too mentally stable had some of the best sex. I'm just gonna put it up.
Okay.
I don't know why, but
okay.
They do. And then the other thing is, I think in the Black community, we just made talking to someone about some stranger about our problems. So I mean, I think it's slowly changing now, but you know, our parents, especially, I think it's starting right now with this generation, but our parents and definitely their parents before them will look at you like you were, something was wrong, that you had to go talk to somebody about family. In fact, they would sweep everything under the rug.
Yeah. I think that for me is a big thing, because I think where we come from, our families generally, I don't want to say overall everybody, but a lot of our culture, you know, from our parents' generation and their parents, was not to talk about things publicly, because they wanted to protect and keep it from the outside. And so there's a lot of secrets that became that were kept and actually caused a lot of pain and internal trauma that didn't get out. And so I think this, you know, our generation is probably the first to really embrace it in the African American community. In the meantime, I put in the chat the website to Good Samaritan. I did not know about them, and so I put that link there here in Atlanta. But if you're not in Atlanta and you're watching, because we have a lot of our subscribers are not from Atlanta, so I would say, you know, do research, because when I went through my divorce, I went to First Families. I found a organization called First Families, and I was able to get therapy for, I think I could go for like $20 a session, which I could afford that. At the time, I couldn't afford much more. But I just did research. So I was like, I need some help. And I think number one, there's nothing wrong with saying that you need help. But I also think that when you're dating, you have to be very honest with the person, that if it's something that you consider seriously. When my husband and I,
don't dump that out on somebody ASAP. Like.
Right. No. Don't dump it out. Like when we decided we were going to really try to work on being in a relationship, my husband told me that he deals with PTSD. He's a military veteran, and he was very honest about that. I had a lot of questions, and there was a lot of speculation and fear around it because of what I've heard, but he was very open, and that made me a lot more willing to be understanding to the situation, because he did not hide it. He brought it out. He told me that, you know, he took something for anxiety. He did therapy. And so I saw that he was actively working on it, which made me want to learn more and figure out how to support him. So that is an example of someone dealing with a mental health issue, but he was very aware, and he also wasn't ashamed. And when you stand in your own truth, then, you know, it makes other people it's easier for them to accept it. But when you hide it or feel ashamed, then I think a lot of times you pass that on to the person, because they're thinking, well, if you're not okay with yourself, how do you expect me to be, you know, okay with you? It's overwhelming. Let me ask you this. I'll start with you, Daniel. Have you ever went through a time in your life where you were dealing with, you know, some issues, and were you in a dating situation, or did you decide not to date, or how did you handle, you know, a period of time that you were struggling and, you know, were going through that? And what was your approach to interacting with, you know, with women during that time?
So, you know, it's something for me. I always think it's interesting when people are like, you know, I'm going through something, I'm not going to date. Because to me, as you know, again, I feel like maintaining my mental health definitely includes sex. So, you know, so I might not have been wifing nobody up, but no matter what I was going through, there was some vagina around, like just like, you know, and in those points. Now, I've, you know, in my journey in general, like I've had moments where I've taken vows of purity, and I've had I've been abstinent a couple of times in my life. But in every other moment, there was gonna be we're gonna need some vagina, just, you know, on the flow. So so maybe I wasn't wifing anybody up during that time, but I was definitely smashing. So you know what I mean. So that was definitely that's always happening. Either I'm abstinent and intentionally not smashing, or I'm very much smashing. But dating, like, Mo, because you know, women and men, dating, the word dating is very interesting.
It's
Like,
different.
yeah,
It's different.
it's definitely a different word. So what I'll say is, no matter what I was going through, there was some vagina around, unless I was specifically abstaining from vagina.
But was it okay? So in those situations, how were you different? How did you show up differently when you were not in a great mental space than when you were? It's because a woman may not. A lot of times with women, we don't necessarily know how to identify that when it comes to
Sure.
men.
Definitely. And so I'm a person who I have a lot of emotional maturity and all those kinds of things. Like I really have taken the time to understand even my traumas and all those kinds of things. So I really have always approached things from a very healthy space around that kind of stuff. And so, like I said, one of the things around maintaining my mental health is saying what I need to say to the person I need to say it to.
Mm-hmm.
You know, and so part of that is the exact opposite too. So, you know what I mean? If Mo got me messed up, I'm not gonna be mean to Christal. You know what I mean? I'm not gonna be lashing out at Christal, like, what do you want? Like, that energy really has to be reserved for Mo.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And if I'm not giving it to Mo, I got to be able to give it to God and the universe, give it to, you know, this blunt that I'm about to smoke or whatever, and let it go. You know what I mean? And so I'm like, so my energy may be lower, you know what I mean? Like, I might not just be with all the vibes that I'm usually with. But I still love and appreciate women. So I'm still going to treat women the same way. Like, you know what I mean? So it's not going to affect the way I treat you. It might affect how much time I interact with you or that kind of thing. But I'm not going to subject you to anything that you don't deserve. Because I believe that we should give people what they specifically deserve.
Absolutely. I like
What
that.
about you, Mo? What do you do differently if you're not in a great space when you're dating?
Oh man, it depends. Like starting off or while I'm actually dating someone.
If you're dating someone and you find yourself going through something that you don't necessarily know how to handle.
Mm-hmm.
As much time alone as I could possibly get. I don't care if I have to walk a trail, you know, or go to the gym just to get away. Time alone.
So she feels like you're withdrawing, and she probably think it's her.
Mm-hmm.
No, I'm a communicator, so I'll probably say it. Because she'll notice. I mean, obviously she'll notice the change if I haven't been going to the gym, but all of a sudden I leave for an hour and a half outside. You see what I'm saying?
Or she may think you're cheating.
Yeah,
Okay.
reason for having the communication early. You know what I mean? You know, and whatever, she could take me, drop me off somewhere, and I just think that time alone to process and vent it all out, because the last thing you want to do is transferring that energy, because then all it's doing is bouncing back and forth. Now, I think if you guys live in separate places, that could be a little bit more touchy, because then she think I'm cheating. You know what I mean?
Or just still. I mean, I know for most women we think it's us. Right. Why is he pulling away? He doesn't want to be with me. What did I do? What can I do better?
Right.
What it was, you can still come over. You know what I'm saying? I just need, you know what I mean?
To be away from you.
No. Christal.
No. It's just like, you know how you get the phone calls and be like, yo, you want some, because women will throw the hints, and if you don't take the hint, they'll think there's something wrong.
Yeah, absolutely. Daniel, do you need to do something? I see you glancing over to the side.
Oh no, I'm good.
Good. Okay. All right. Speaking of emotional maturity, I pulled a clip because I feel like in dating, a lot of times we misread each other, right? Which is, and I think emotional maturity is a big part of that in communication. And all this goes to how do we manage our emotions? And we're doing that better if we're in a great mental space.
Yeah.
So I was trying to show Mo how women a lot of times interpret things very, very different than men. Definitely. So this clip that I'm going to play is from Relationship Boosters. And I just thought, I've seen this. I've been in this situation where a man just kind of blows up. And I'm like, where did this come from? So I want to play this clip, and then I want to get you guys reactions to it.
Way out of line.
I know that.
What?
I know I'm out of line. I'm too emotional and I'm too upset now to contribute anything real to the conversation because you got me to this place.
So it's my fault?
No, it's not. I'm saying that I can't say anything worthwhile anymore. I'm too upset, and it's all about the kid. It's about my fear about the kids, and it's about our stuff that we never solved. And you're totally right that this is about my problems and my issues, and anything that has to do with you, you're not going to admit to. So I'm taking it all up to myself, and there's no way for me to say anything but shit now, which is all that's coming out of my mouth.
Okay.
So in that clip, she was talking and the guy was like, I can't, and I've noticed that for myself, I'll just speak to my experiences. I'm very good with words, and I understand, and a lot of times the guy that I'm with it's like there's a lot of emotion and then not necessarily as good with words as I am, or as quick to be able to say it. Mm-hmm. And at that point, I'm like, what is wrong with you? Why can't you just, and it's like, it's almost like, it's like the Incredible Hulk. It's just like, man. I'm like, why are you that mad? And if you are that, what in the world is going on? What is happening? But when I saw that, and he was able to articulate why, he was like, all I can say is angry right now, but it's all this stuff that's piled up. And then she's like, so it's my fault? He was like, no, it's not your fault, but you got me to this place. So seeing that clip and hearing I'll start with you, Daniel. What is your feedback on that clip, and have you ever found yourself on the other side of that?
Yeah, I think you can definitely find yourself in that space, because and even I have a pretty good command of the English language and my feelings and perspective. But sometimes in interactions with women, it's just really, and it just kind of, it's seeming more and more this way, honestly. Like, women don't really have space for giving a fuck about how we actually feel about the things. And so really, so there'll be it's like you hear words like gaslighting and all that kind of stuff like that. And I don't know if anybody's more gaslit than black men. We're probably on fire. Like, just, we not even lit. We're just bonfires a lot of times. And I'm just like, not only you lit, you are inferno. And so where it's just like, literally, it's nothing you could say that is going to get peace in this conversation, resolve in this conversation. Like, and sometimes it feels impossible, because it's like, with some black women, it's like they act like they're the only person who gets to feel. And so when one person in an interaction of two, only one of them gets to actually feel anything, that's always going to make a lot of men who can't express be explosive in the way that gentleman was. You know what I mean? Like, it's like, because he already knows that as soon as he starts off, she's gonna jump in. She might start belittling him. Like, now she's talking about something he did 3 years ago, and all those unhealthy, unproductive components of conflict resolution that a lot of women bring to conflict. And it makes you feel like exploding. One of the things that I've kind of retreated into doing is I will step back and I might send you a fucking email. Like, because what I'm not going to do is keep going back and forth with you. I know exactly how I feel. I know exactly what happened. I know exactly my understanding of what happened. And I know exactly how you got me fucked up, or I know how I got the situation fucked up. But we can't actually talk about it, because you're not, at some point, you're not going to even let me get a word in.
So you send emails?
Oh yeah, I will send you an email, and it'll be my thoughts. Yeah, definitely. And so and so I'll write.
Why not a text?
We talked about this yesterday at the Black Media Mixer. Like, I think it's like, I prefer talking, and I think that's really the most. I think that's the healthiest thing to do, if you can actually talk. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? But again, a lot of times in this women situation, men don't usually get a chance to talk after a certain level has been reached by this woman around this subject matter. Mm-hmm, mm-hmm. And so I'm a person who I need to be understood. And until you confirm you received this email, definitely don't even hit my line, boo. It's not really a lot that I want to talk about, because this is what I'm thinking and how I'm feeling. And you're not listening to it. You're not creating space for it, or you decided that I don't even get to have license to it. Again, I think You know, I think sometimes women act like they're the only ones who get to feel. And so when you know you don't even have that opportunity, I need to get this off, because remember, I believe in saying what I need to say to who I need to say it to.
Yeah.
And so texting, a lot of times, it just, that little thing in my hand doing a bunch, I already don't like that. So when I'm on my laptop, I am banging on out, you know what I mean? Like, just, you know, and I like that more.
Okay. Mo, what about you? I know I could see from you, I saw that you connected and you understood, and you guys had a male moment there. Share how you feel and what you've done in this situation, if that was similar to what we just saw in that clip.
I'm just even thinking about now, I've given up. Like, I've really given up to, like, because I have to really think back to when have I ever approached a woman, or she came to me and asked me what was wrong. I said what was wrong. She took it in. We tried to come up with a solution or whatever, because I start to say what's wrong, then at some point I'm what's wrong.
No, definitely. Of course.
It turns back to
of
me.
course.
How did we get here? I didn't come to you what was wrong with you. You came to what was wrong with me. And then as soon as I said that, the tables turned, and now we're working on me. Instead of working on you, or we're working on it. It could be an it. Doesn't have to be you, but it'll turn back. And I really think, like, I've never been in mid-conversation with some women. Okay. Really all of them. And they said in mid-conversation, they be like, oh, I see. It's never that. It's like they're there to win or to prove that I'm wrong.
Yes, literally. There to win, or just,
like,
yeah.
No, so then you stop coming to them with the problems, but you're trying to work it out yourself, but then they still want to know what's wrong. And this is when you get when the guy ready to go, because if I say it, it's not going to work. We're going to be in the same place that we are now, maybe even worse.
No, it's going to be worse. It's going to know. It only becomes more explosive at that point, because it's like, you don't give a fuck what I'm feeling. You don't give a fuck what I'm thinking. You don't give a fuck about any accountability to any component of the trains falling off the tracks. You know what I mean? Like, it's like literally 100% my fault. And it's just terrible.
But you know who listens? You know who listens? My work wife. That's who listens. That's how she became work wife.
Yes, like or side piece. Okay.
Or a side piece. Until she becomes the main piece, and then she moves.
No.
Other Joan. But you know, Mo, there's something that it's something that I've come into a real it's something I've come into a real awareness of, that I'm liking to share, is I'm sure that most men aren't getting this experience enough, because they're probably not going to ask for it. But Christal, another thing in these situations is what men really need to be in their in their loving dating relationships is, we need to be the little spoon sometimes. Yes, like, we need to be the little spoon. And so that could be the little spoon from the side, like, come and you get behind him and have him wrapped up in your bosom, if you will. You know what I mean? Like that type of energy. Or sometimes I even will enjoy a woman just laying literally on top of me, on my back. Like that feeling. And so try this with your husband. It's gonna be a fun experience. Yeah, like he needs it, and he probably won't ask for it, but once he feels it a couple times, he will start requesting it, or you will be able to tell that he needs it.
So I'm gonna ask you guys.
Hold on, Mo. What you got, Mo? What you say, Mo?
No. I like that. My only issue, and it might be just me tripping, but my only issue is that you say, like, the little spoon theory, right?
Yeah.
When we get in an argument, she's gonna remind me that I was the little spoon. That's the problem I'm going to have.
No, she's look. If she does that, just get rid of her. You know what I mean? It's easy. Just get rid of her.
Sometimes it's like that hug. Sometimes, you know, as a man, I know women don't hate to hear this or whatever, but sometimes, man, it's a lot out here. It's a lot out here, especially if you're saying, you know what, I need him to be the head, he paid for all this, that comes with something.
Right.
And that comes with something. And if you never stop to be like, yo, are you good? Or for nothing, everything could be all right. But just a check-in on the person that you say is the head.
Yeah. And that's why that feeling, because what it literally feels like is this woman has my back.
And what it really literally is.
Exactly. And that's the only way you can, a lot of times women can really convey that to a man without words.
I like that.
You know what I mean? And so that's why it's very valuable. Like it's very valuable. And like, so again, like I'm down for it if I'm just laying on my stomach and she just lays on top of me, or if we're just laying and I turn to the side and she wraps me up, because that's the protection, that's the safety, that's the intimacy that a man actually needs from the woman in his life. Like that's a position that no other woman can be in with him.
I like
that's good.
You know
that's
what
good,
I mean?
Daniel. I got 2 more questions for you guys before we end this tonight. First question is, so if they're obviously, because of the great connection that you two just had, this happens, and a lot of men have experienced this. I've heard this a lot of times. What tips could you give a woman? And I'll start with you, Mo. What tips would you give a woman if she is upset? There is an issue. I want to address it, but I don't want you to get to the point where you feel like your contribution is not valued. But I also want to be honest about the fact that you've hurt me, you've hurt my feelings, and I am upset. So how do we have discussion that may be disagreements in a positive and healthier way, so that the man doesn't get to the point where he feels like he's about to turn into the Incredible Hulk?
Right.
Talk to me and not talk at me.
What does that mean?
A lot of it is tone. You know what I'm saying? Like, talk to me like you would talk to your boss at work.
Yep.
Like you don't want to get fired, but you have to talk to him, and you come into his office, knock on his door, and be like,
right.
I'll talk to you for a minute. Give me that same respect.
Yeah.
You see what I'm saying? Give me that same you give him. You're not sitting up there doing all that neck movement and all that stuff that y'all do. You know what I'm saying?
Hand in the face and shit.
And this, like, it ain't gonna be
got me fucked up. Yeah. I ain't one of these regular bitches.
Thank you. Him, but you still need to address something to him.
Right, exactly.
And that's talking to someone instead of talking at someone, to me.
Okay.
Yeah.
So I love that. Yeah, talk to me like you're not trying to get fired. That's good.
You can't get fired.
Yeah, exactly. Because you can't get fired. The fuck? Like, you know what I mean? Like, what they say is 20 to 1 or some goofy shit like that out here. Okay, so we are like definitely. So to me, I think that you have to communicate with men, and I think if men are doing it right, they're communicating with women with some rhythm, Christal. Like there's rhythm, there's timing. It's almost like a little double dutchy kind of at a certain point, and you just can't jump in that motherfucker. You're gonna get wrapped up in the ropes. You gotta see and see the right opening for you to get in there to start doing the jumping. I think that to me, one of the most powerful things that I think women can do to really get their point across and be heard and felt and seen by men in moments of challenge is, I think that you got to talk to him right after you fuck the shit out of him. Like I'm like, just like, you got my full attention, sweetheart. I'm probably not gonna make any sudden moves. And I listen and look, and you just fucked the shit out of me. So,
but are you sleepy? Because usually it's the sleepiness.
No. I mean, maybe it's not 3 a.m. Maybe that's
usually once the fluids have left, also the energy is gone, and I'm listening, and then I may fall asleep.
Nah, is that you, or are you saying the man?
The man.
Nah, sweetheart. That's not. Like, Yeah, nah. Like, I mean, okay, Crystal. I mean, you do ride horses. I guess you putting niggas to sleep out here. But yeah, nah. I'm not. No, I'm not going to sleep. I'm gonna be in a very relaxed state.
Okay.
But then again, post nut clarity is a thing.
I try to tell them.
You know what I mean? That's what I'm saying. So I'm gonna be able to see everything clear after you fuck the shit out of me, and I'm not going right to sleep. And so it's like, so to me, that's a great time to talk about some shit. So fuck the shit out of me. Then maybe go get me a hot look, Mo, look, get me a little hot towel, come back, wipe me off.
Get the most honesty out of a man that's right after.
Yeah, exactly. Look, get the hot towel for me. You know what I mean? Look, wipe the boy. You know what I mean? And then look, and then lay down, and don't even necessarily try to super be all up into me. But I'm not opposed to that. But let's just lay in bed and talk. And I think that's the perfect time for women to have conversations with men that could be a lot. Now don't fuck me and then lay me down and say you pregnant by, and you don't know which one of the three niggas, that it is. Like that, that's not. But if it's just opportunities for us to have maintenance in our relationship after you fuck the shit out of me, is a great moment to talk.
That is, I don't think I've ever heard that one before, but I do. But Jala said noted.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
Remember I told you, Crystal, if women do the other thing, they can find out all the information right after, because that's what this is.
Yeah, fuck the shit out of me, and then let's talk about you need $2,000 for this trip. Let's talk about how I'm leaving the toilet seat, whatever that is. We can have those relationship maintenance conversations after you fuck the shit out.
In a peaceful, it's conducive to a more peaceful conversation.
Definitely.
Okay.
Exactly. So yeah.
Last question for you, gentlemen, and because I think in relationships we all need to feel loved, right, and appreciated and valued,
including men.
Right. So that's this question. This question is for you two men.
Okay.
What makes you feel loved in a relationship? What actions? I need actions, not feelings. What actions for you personally make you feel loved? I'll start with you, Daniel.
Actions that make me feel loved. So I think so. I'm a very thoughtful, empathic, intuitive kind of human being. So I'm the kind of person who feels energy, but I also understand that I have the power to raise the temperature or decrease the temperature. It's like, where you hear the analogy about what either you're a thermostat personality type or a thermometer personality type. Mm-hmm. And so I understand I'm a thermostat personality type. Not only do I know the temperature, I understand I have the power to change the temperature. And so I think that a couple of things, a couple of actions to me that make me feel loved in ways that I need to feel loved is when she asks questions like, how can I support you this week? Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? Like, how can I support you? Like that, just those words in a question and them actually listening to an answer, and then mm-hmm. me feeling like the things that we discussed, she's actually going to implement, is one of those ways. I would say that. I think another one of the ways that I feel loved is when she initiates sexual activity or initiates the blowjob. You know what I mean? Like, just like, I think that's one of the ways that you feel loved. And then even in conjunction with that, when she initiates and she wants to be on top.
Okay, when she's the aggressor.
Yes, exactly. Being on top. Like, because that, when a woman decides to be on top, and it's not like she's acting like that's a chore, because, women get real pillow princessy real quick out here. Like, you know what I mean? Like, y'all being on top is, y'all just want to lay there and be fucked, really, a lot of times. And it's like, no, when you decide to initiate sex and you decide to be on top, I'm feeling very loved in that experience. So that's one. I think, when she initiates really anything, women initiating is one of the key ingredients to men feeling loved. And when you initiate something positive, when you initiate any type of positive activities, like whether it is you decided to cook my favorite thing that I like, or maybe you decided to take me to lunch, or all of those different kinds of things. And So those are all things for me. Something that also, I've had this experience probably about 4 times in my life, where I've actually had women who bought me flowers. I didn't ask for flowers. It wasn't, hey, girl, get me flowers. But them deciding that they wanted me to have my flowers. I thought that was really cool. I thought that was a cool action to feel that. But anytime women initiate something that is for her man, that maybe has nothing to do with her specifically, but just because she thinks that he wants it or needs it, those are moments where men really feel love. Those are actions. And then I told you, making sure that you do maintenance on the vagina after you pee and do all the stuff, jump in the shower. That's we feel love there. Look, we feel love there. The being the little spoon is another experience where we feel love. And then even in intimacy, when women are more attentive to our bodies than just our neck and our penises, like, you know what I mean? It's like, you know what I mean? Like when she's like really more engaged with more of my body than just my penis and my lips and my neck. Yeah, those are some things, definitely.
Okay, well that is we went quite into detail there.
You're welcome.
Mo, do you have some tips? And Jala did stand up for the women about the pillow princess. It is the knees, and I don't, it's a lot with the knees.
Yeah, but there's a reverse cowgirl position where it takes all the pressure off. Like, I've had women with terrible knees enjoy this position. It's the reverse cowgirl. Like, turn on around. Turn on around. But it doesn't matter. Like, what about our knees? What about our things? Like, it's just, again, that's why women, that be that part. Like, yes, everybody, look, go to the gym, do some stretching. Like, our knees, we're supposed to keep elasticity in them until we're like 60 years old. Like,
well,
beyond the yoga,
beyond.
Run the yoga play.
Mo, what makes you feel loved?
I'll say 2 things. One thing is what's done when I'm not around, what's not in my presence. When you're not in my presence, what's it done? That you say about me to other people. Something you might have saw in the mall. It could be little, like it's nothing big or anything, but the fact that you thought of me when I wasn't around. You see, like those type of things. When you hear back from other people, it was like, oh, she said all these wonderful things. You know what I'm saying? Or the friends say, I heard about you, and it was like, yo, it was all good. So those type of things, and then just in general, physical touch, and I don't mean like sex. I just mean like we could be in the house watching a movie and holding hands. You see what I'm saying? Or I'm at one end of the couch and I'm just laying there, and then you come and you lay on me and we're watching the game together.
Yep.
Those 2 things to me, everything else is sandwiched in between. But what's done in someone's absence means just as much, and maybe even more, of what's done in their presence.
But that touch, that's so important. Like,
I did not realize that a lot of times men, that it's not just about intimacy. It is just they read that, or that interprets as love, but it's so interesting that it interprets as love with a woman that they love, but a woman that they do not love, it interprets as something else. So it's just kind of
something. What do you mean when you say something else?
So, like, for instance, if you can do, like, if a man is unfaithful, right? Well, then he's doing the exact same things with a woman that he does not love that he is doing with his woman that he loves.
Yeah, but that's for, like, the thing that he's doing for the other woman is not, he's just going through the motions. There's nothing behind it. You see what I'm saying? It might look like it. Like, one time you see me just being around a woman, you were like, it looked like you were into her. I was not into that lady. You know who I'm talking about. What I'm talking about. But I had to, I was there. I was going through it, but it would have meant a lot more if it was somebody. It would have meant something if it was somebody there. But that wasn't for me. That was for her. I don't care about that.
Look, you did her a favor, Mo. We appreciate you, Mo. Yeah.
Context.
but Mo, I mean, but Christal, like, here's the thing. It's like when people say that they don't like to be touched,
Mm-hmm.
to me, that's a red flag for something that probably happened to them
Mm-hmm.
in their life, for whether they were molested. Something is usually a part of people not wanting to be touched,
Oh,
right?
absolutely.
Because at the end of the day, the first way that we've ever known love was touch. Before we could talk, we
Mhm.
were
Mom that picked you
yes,
up.
exactly. So that's the first love that we've ever known. So if you ever evolve in your life to the point that that's the one that you are wanting the least, some things probably happen.
Yeah.
But with men, because if a man is not, if he's not in a space where he's playing a lot of sports, if he's not in those types of environments, he's getting, like, men are probably, the average black man is probably getting touched about, I don't know, 22% of the time, and he wants 100%. Like, we are not being touched enough as men because men aren't touching each other enough. Like,
Mhm.
I'm one of those people who, of course, we've known each other for years, and people always want to give me a hug.
Mhm.
And it could be the straightest, most gangsterest nigga, or or a baddie, or even if she's not even an extra baddie, she still wants to give me a hug. I guess I'm cuddly in that way. You know what I mean? Look, I'm cuddly in that way. But men aren't touching, and we want and we need to touch. We understand that that was the first way we ever knew love. So
Mhm.
that's absolutely a thing. If you're just touching your man, playing in the back of his hair when he's driving, all that kind of stuff like that, he wants and needs all that all the time. And so if
Wow.
you're signing up to be in this man's life, you need to keep your hands on him as much as possible in any way that's warm, any way that's consoling, nurturing. You don't gotta go for his penis. You could really rub his leg while he's driving,
Yeah.
and all of those things. Rub his arm while it's in the thing, or even just lean up next to him in the armrest. All of that is so needed. Like, we're not, like, again, it's we've made it to where men hugging and touching and stuff is like, we make that think it's a sexuality thing.
Yeah. And
So
even with like sons, I think when I do see black men hug their sons and kiss their sons, it's so beautiful to me. But
mhm.
for a long time, you see you give him dap or hit him or something. I don't know.
Yeah, and it's just, and it is that they still want to touch, and so even as little kids, so they're hitting, but they really don't want to. They don't want to inflict harm on this person. This is my little brother. This is my big sister. This is my cousin. But I know I want to touch this person.
Mhm.
You know what I mean? And it really could be a massage. It really could be a arm rub or something like that. But yeah, ladies, keep your hands on this nigga if you really want him to be feeling loved by you.
Yeah.
I know my husband's love language is physical touch. So he definitely it's just all of that all the time. Yeah.
What we saying?
Mo, what about you?
No, that's right. I would just say don't do it because this happens to me a lot. Don't do it because you see other women around now.
Oh, right. When you outside, now all of a sudden she want to be all consoling in your lap and shit.
Now you want to mark yourself
Performative.
like
Performative, yeah.
because now I know this ain't you. Why you doing it? Because you never do it. If you always do it, then it's not. You see what I'm saying?
She's doing it to mark her. She's peeing on her territory.
Literally.
It makes us uncomfortable because we know damn well now if you do it all the time, we wouldn't notice. We only notice because you don't do it.
Well,
Exactly.
this has been a really good conversation. Daniel, I want to thank you for joining us for today's show. Before you leave, I'm sure there's some ladies that would love to follow you or learn more about what you do. Could you share with people where they can find and keep up with Mr. Daniel Dickey?
Yeah. So I put my Instagram in this thing right here. But yeah, you can follow me on all social platforms. I am very easy to find, Mr. Daniel Dickey. Don't forget the Mr. And you'll find me really easy. And then my agency can be found at theresourceguild.com. So you can pull that up and see what we're up to. Really, I just utilize the anointing of Daniel to help my people actualize their dreams and destiny with a favor that I live in with the kings and the castles and with the kings in the jungle.
There you go.
I like that. Daniel, I also want to just recognize that you mentioned the gentleman, the homeless man that was bulldozed. Unbelievable. And so I just would like to know what can be done to help. I saw some of that, the family and people in the community that were outraged, and it is outraged. It's outrageous. I did see our mayor, Andre Dickens, spoke out about it, but I would love to know what's going on. So I'll give you a call about that tomorrow. But I'm glad that there are people in our community that are not going to allow that to go without there being some answer for that. There's some consequence. That was a man's just unbelievable and horrible. And we know with everything happening right now, we have to stand up for things that are unacceptable, because if you don't stand up for something, you'll fall for anything. Yep. So thank you so much for being the person that you are, with your compassion for community and so much more. And thank you again for joining Scorpio Moe and I tonight.
Thank you so much for having me. Look, it was a pleasure meeting you, Mo.
Thank you, brother. Nah, likewise, man. We gotta do it again.
Yeah, definitely. And so I'd like to, I guess, say final, and my final thought is I really, I don't want us to stand up as much as I want us to stand together. You know what I mean? It's easy to have these army of ones.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? But the trick that our oppressors have done to us is they have us in such sub silos. You know what I mean? The people who, like cream in their coffee, versus the people who like, whatever, almond milk.
Like it black.
Yes. And so we should fight to the death about this. You know what I mean? And so we're finding such small little things to be a part of, that we're not living in the collective consciousness and culture that we're actually supposed to live in. Like we as people of color, we are not siloed people. We really do thrive in a close interconnectivity with each other. And if we can get back to that, we can wield the power that we're supposed to wield in this country and in the world. So I want us to stand up, but I don't want us to stand up by ourselves. Like, always find somebody to stand up with every time.
I like that. Very nice. Very nice. Well, thank you, sir. And would love to have you come back.
All right. Look, have your people call my people.
Will do. I think I know where your people are.
All right. We love to see it.
All right. Well, tonight was a good conversation. Definitely a good conversation. What do you think?
No, I loved it. He made some great points. I like that.
Yeah. Really good conversation. If you're watching this on the replay, we would love to hear your comments. I mean, we're definitely a really serious conversation. But I think there was some good feedback. And I really enjoyed just kind of letting the guys speak, because I know most of our audience is women. And I just did not comment very much. And I think it's necessary sometimes just to let women hear what men have to say, because I think we know kind of what we see each other, my sisters. So it was good to hear two men's perspective, different men, but you guys had commonalities in a lot of things that you believed and that you've experienced. And so tonight was good. I enjoyed that. We got another great one coming up for you guys next week. So please tune in. We'll have another guest next Wednesday. But first, Saturday is a party. It's a party. Now, Mo, you're hosting it, so I need it to really be a party.
And C Boogie will be here as well.
C Boogie will be there. It's gonna be a party after the Love and Marriage Huntsville.
Adrian is coming, right?
Adrian is not coming. He is not going to be able to make it, so it'll just be us three.
Right.
But we are going to go in. There's no holds barred. It is going to be an after dark conversation, because we are going to be honest about every single thing that happens in part one of the reunion. Now, I do want to warn you all. We know that Love and Marriage Huntsville is having a 3-part reunion.
Damn.
So this is just going to be the first, but there's enough stuff going on via social media.
Oh yeah.
Fill in.
It's going to
fill in the blanks. And I think that we also just need to be honest about some of the situations, even the wrap up of Friday's, the finale. I just want us to really get into that finale. So we'll do see Boogie. So yes, make sure that you reserve that you are, if you are not a subscriber, you need to be a subscriber so you can get your alerts. So you tune in. Trust me, you guys are not going to want to miss Saturday. It's going to be a once in a lifetime conversation. We're going to be together.
Snacks for Christal, because you know how she liked them snacks.
I do like my snacks, and I do need my snacks, and I'm looking forward to it. It's going to be a good. I may need a little wine, so maybe have a little Moscato. Yeah,
that's the reason I was going to ask for, because I was going to bring Adrian's drink of choice, but no, I definitely got the wine.
Yeah, it would be a lot cheaper without Adrian drinking choice. Adrian likes a lot of drink. I just a glass of Moscato. I'm good. But yeah, it's going to be good. Thank you so much for that, LaPearl. If you all enjoyed this, please like this on the way out. I think we had great conversation today, and I think it definitely can help somebody. So put it in the algorithm, make sure that other people get a chance to see it. And like I said, please leave your comments. Don't just listen, but be a part of the conversation, specifically when it comes to emotional intelligence and how do we interact in relationships. This is all something that we need to be sharing with each other about. So it was good. So thank you for being honest, Mo. And I think we had a good time.
No, thank you for bringing Daniel on. Gave some great information. Thank you for letting us vent and share. I appreciate that.
Yeah, because we're gonna get into it on Saturday. It's gonna be a good time. You don't want to miss it. Now, Friday night, get your rest. Saturday night, we're locked in. So we will see you guys on Saturday. We may have to give you guys a little reminder. Mo, you need to do a minute with Mo to let people know to tune in.
You know what?
I'll definitely
going to do that.
Yes, do that, because we've got to talk about this reunion. We've just got to get to the bottom of arrests and infidelity, Huntsville. I just, we got to get to it. I have a piece coming out tomorrow on Melody, and so we got a lot to do. We will see you guys Saturday at 9:00, immediately following Love and Marriage, aka Arrest and Infidelity, Huntsville. All right. Enjoy the rest of your week. Be prosperous and productive. We love you all, and we will see you Saturday at 9 p.m. Eastern, immediately following the Love and Marriage Huntsville reunion. Good night, everybody.
Good night. Woo!